Hines, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peters is absent. Mrs. Brazel?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Brown is absent. Mrs. Evaldi?
Here.
Mr. Rungy's absent. Mr. Bain?
Here. Mr. Green, will you lead us in pledge of allegiance?
Absolutely. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have need to approve the agenda. Dr. Evers, any additions or corrections?
No.
And with that, I'd entertain a motion.
so moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Approval of consent agenda. We have District 186 regular board meeting minutes dated September 27, 2022. District 186 budget hearing minutes dated September 27, 2022. Tri-County minutes dated September 17, 2022. Tri-County bills for the month of October 2022. We acknowledge the applications that we receive for employment. In addition, accept the reports provided by the administration. Are there any questions related to the consent agenda or anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Do you have need to approve District 186 bills for the month of October 2022? Are there any questions for the administration related to the listing of bills? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the bills as presented.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
And would you roll call that, please?
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Beavers is gone. Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy? And Mr. Bain?
Yes. Motion carried. Communications.
We have two. The first one is from Ben Young. Mr. Hernan, I will be resigning from the position of 8th grade girls basketball coach effective immediately. I have the opportunity to move up to the high school girls JV basketball coach and would like to pursue this opportunity. I want to thank you and all the staff at Murphysboro Middle School for all of the support for the last 5 years. I've been coaching at the middle school. I'm willing to help out in any way you need during the transition of finding a new coach for the 8th grade girls team. Sincerely, Ben Young.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried.
The second one is from Ashley Renfro. Murphysboro School Board, my name is Ashley Renfro. I'm blessed to be serving my second year as one of the school counselors here at Murphysboro High School. I'm currently pregnant with an expected due date of October 15th. I plan on working until the baby decides to come or until the doctors tell me it's time to deliver. DST testing for the semester is the 12th, the week of the due date, and I want to try my best to work until then. With that said, if I have not gone into labor before my due date, my tentative start date for maternity leave will be October 17th. If I'm able to start the week of the 17th, then I could anticipate returning the week of December 1st, assuming I or the baby have no complications. Thank you for allowing me to work in a great district with great people. Blessings, Ashley Renfro.
Dr. Evers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's in the hospital now.
Well, perfect timing on
Let's
the
think
letter.
about it.
We'd like her to come back to work on Friday.
I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried.
Best wishes.
Any freedom of information requests, Dad?
Not this one.
Nothing?
Got fishbowl.
And, oh, I missed Fishbowl, I apologize. Fishbowl, quick, Mr. Green.
Since the name on this is blacked out, I'm assuming the individual sending this does not want to be mentioned, but this is with in reference to Heather Parr's STEAM team. Mrs. Parr coached 3 boys, Max Adams, Skylar Blue, and Ethan Dover, to help prepare them for Saturday's competition in Marion. They won that competition. Great job to them. She would be a great robotics team coach for the middle school and 5th grade. If let's bring in this person who doesn't want to be named. But you can still see their name.
we're really proud of those young scientists and learners,
awesome.
those STEM kids, so.
Okay, moving on to recognition of the audience. The Board of Education welcomes the audience to make public or employee comments. The board has set aside time on the agenda specifically for this purpose. Pursuant to Board Policy 2.230, each speaker may be limited to a 5-minute presentation. Please be aware that while this is at the time for the public to express its opinion and/or concerns, the board may or may not comment regarding public presentations. If a matter of public comment warrants discussion or action of the Board of Education, such discussion or action will be added to the agenda of a future meeting. Are there any public concerns? Hearing none, are there any employee concerns? Thank you for coming. Moving on to old business. We received last month Press 109 update. This is the service that we use to keep our policies and procedures up to date in accordance with state statute and guidance from the state. We had an opportunity to review. Dr. Evers, is there anything you would like to add related to that update?
There were quite a few, but I mean, I think all of them are pretty standard and in accordance to what we're doing. Already is best practice, so.
More cleanup language than anything?
More cleanup language, and I said it was the first year that it hasn't been mostly to adhere to COVID regulations, so we're actually getting some procedural changes, but nothing that changes our day-to-day practice. So I think we're okay to approve these as presented.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Moving on to new business. We've received the 2021-2022 audit report from the external firm Rice Sullivan. I did have an opportunity, being the bean counter, to take a look at it. We did receive a clean opinion. It is in accordance with the requirements the state placed on us as far as financial reporting. Looks pretty standard to you. Dr. Evers, is there anything you'd like to add?
I just, one thing that I like to note is that we're moving in the right directions with cash days on hand. That's usually where I go. I look to see if we have any findings, and then the next section is that I like to look at is cash days on hand. We have almost 199.72. You know, if we can get to 180 sooner than later, that's always my goal, is to have a year cash on hand, but we have almost 100 days cash on hand, and our financial profile is exactly where we want it to be with recognition. So, and with the finding being removed, we're squeaky clean this year, so.
Okay, good.
Do we know what we changed to get the finding removed?
Really very little, honestly. I mean, they feel that we do have enough people, segregation of duties, and, you know, we've done a few additional things, additional review of bank reconciliations every month. Dr. Evers had started reviewing all the American Express bills, the credit card bills, just a few things like that. So no major, you know, we sat down and kind of talked about our internal controls and some of our processes, and I think that they felt, though, while we don't have a separate person to do everything, that we still do have enough controls to satisfy those. And I will say that our financial statements the numbers were exactly the same, no journal entries, which, you know, Kevin is a CPA, you know, that's always a victory at the end of the year when you close, that there are no changes being made. And I do want to give a lot of kudos and thanks to my accounting staff, to Kim Brown and to Melinda Guthman, because we wouldn't have this clean opinion if it wasn't for all their hard work.
How long have we been with Rice Sullivan?
Probably. They just changed names, but basically the same people and partners. I'd say 6 to 8 years, or maybe 10 even. It's
Okay.
been a little bit.
And that is one thing I know that I had Terry look to see when our renewal is, and that's a January renewal. So, you know, that would be one thing that I'd ask the board to kind of keep it in mind. You know, we've shopped insurance, we've shopped buses. Do we continue with the firm that we're utilizing? You know, and maybe Jan or I can send. I know you can do it to the IASMO group on what audit firms are used in the area if we're wanting to, you know, request proposals from audit firms. But I know that the renewal date is January, correct?
Okay, well, we had a 3-year, I don't know where we are in the cycle for sure, but we had a 3-year, agreement. And I honestly can't
We
remember,
voted on that in January of 2020.
20, so the 20,
So it's January.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
so this is the 3rd year, so. And it's been several years since we did, we have gone out for RFP for audit services before, but it has been several years. And there are fewer firms doing it,
And that's where
doing schools.
I would think that the only way that we probably could see, what, other school audit firms are is if we sent out a Google form to the CSBOs and the business managers or the superintendent group. I think you probably could get a better pulse from the CSBO group if you sent it out and said, who are you using, and maybe have, would the board like that, to have that information on which firms are being utilized?
I think anytime you can look at your current vendors just to see, that's best practice.
Okay.
Options are
It's
good.
one of the nice things that we don't have to go with cost as our determining factor when you're
Right.
looking at audit firms and things, so.
And I think my concern is that we would want a firm that has experience in conducting school
School
audits,
audits, right.
because they are pretty unique.
Right.
So if we choose to accept RFPs, that would be one of those questions like we asked to, in our previous insurance, what groups do you work with, what school groups do you work with, or, similar scope and size, so.
Yeah, it would be too tough for a firm to learn this for just one client.
Right.
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
Just too many
Well, and I look
nuances.
at, I think they tested $6.5 million of, in their audit, which, that's a lot of tested.
Okay, any further questions related to the audit? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the audit as presented.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Say,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Next item is the waiver of the administrative cost limitation. This is what we had the public hearing on just a few minutes ago. Is there anything else that needs to be added, Dr. Evers?
I don't think so.
With that being said, I'd entertain a motion to accept the waiver of administrative cost limitations.
so moved.
Second.
Let's roll call that one, please.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Brown is absent, Mr. Rungy is absent, Mr. Beavers is absent, Mr. Bain?
Yes, motion carried. The second item out of the public hearing was the e-learning plan for 2022-2023. Dr. Evers, anything to add?
No, just like I said, it will feel for the students and the teachers, very much like what remote learning looked like for snow days. It will be an electronic synchronous and asynchronous plan, but days 1 through 3 will be asynchronous, and if we go beyond 4 or beyond, we'll go to a synchronous blended approach to checking in with our students.
Okay, any questions from the board? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the e-learning plan for 2022-2023.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Let's roll call that one, please.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown is absent, Mr. Rungy is absent, Beavers is absent, and Mr. Bain?
Yes, motion carried. Administration seeking approval of the graduation and baccalaureate date and time for 2023. Dr. Evers?
May 20th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at Doc Bensini Football Field. And then baccalaureate will be held on the same day, May 20th, but at 11 a.m. and that is held in our auditorium.
Any questions?
So will that be the last day for everybody in the school, or everybody got a week before?
No, that we teach kids all the way till graduation.
Okay.
Through the 19th.
Any additional questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the administration's recommendation.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. There's an MOU with the Stress and Trauma Treatment Center Incorporated that was enclosed in your board packet. Dr. Evers?
aside from listing Marion School District, there's that, those are the only, on section 2, that it's updated to reflect Murphysboro School District. They provide, it's an outside entity that provides counseling to some of our students, and so we'd like to, do a 1-year agreement with them.
Basically sets the understanding between the two bodies. There's no money transaction from the district going to them, right?
Correct, it's just
Okay.
a service, and then they do their bill for service separately from the school district, if there is any.
Any additional questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. We do have need to go into closed session. Mr. Green.
Motion to go into closed session pursuant to Section 2 of the Open Meetings Act 5, Illinois compiled statutes 120-2C to review the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Would you like to roll call that, please?
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Brown is absent, Mr. Rungy's absent, Ms. Beavers is absent, Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Bing?
Yes. Motion carried.